An opportunity now in Cleveland with a quarterback situation that, honestly, he can come out of and win the job. I think he'll do well. I really do. I think the kid works really hard. I think he loves the game of ball. And when it comes down to it, if you have a guy like that loves the game, obviously grown up around it his whole life, I think he'll be successful.
He has a tremendous luxury to change plays at the line of scrimmage and what he sees. But you got to take into account that this kid has started every game in his high school career. This kid has started every game in his college career but one. He's seen a lot of football. So it's not too many complex defenses that you could throw at him that he hadn't seen. He's seen all of them.
I think he's done a great job. He's a super nice kid. Those guys, the people I work with that interview him and stuff, he's a great guy. He's just got to, he's got to kind of put himself under the radar and work every day, which he seems to be doing.
Incredibly accurate.
Yes, he is.
He really understands not only offensive football, but he understands what you're doing as a defense, so he'll pick you apart that way. He processes quickly. Like, all those things to me are big-time attributes. And I just remember last year at this time, Bo Nix falling. People saying, hey, Bo Nix is going to be a second-rounder, and Bo Nix is not. By the way, that guy was one of the best quarterbacks.
What went down behind closed doors in Miami last week has NFL scouts, GMs, and team owners absolutely stunned. Shedeur Sanders delivered a performance so extraordinary, so flawlessly executed, that even the most seasoned evaluators who've been doing this for decades are rethinking everything they thought they knew about the quarterback position. But here's what makes this story absolutely mind-blowing. This wasn't some staged workout with hand-picked receivers and soft coverage. We're talking about a facility where legends like Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers perfect their craft, facing former NFL defenders who've made careers out of destroying quarterback dreams. And what Shedeur did to these battle-tested veterans, it left grown men speechless. The buzz began on Tuesday. By Friday, it was the talk of every NFL front office. And now we finally understand why Deion Sanders has been so confident about his son's future. What you're about to hear will change your perspective on the 2025 NFL Draft forever. But first, let me ask you this. When was the last time you saw a college quarterback make NFL veterans question their own abilities? Before we dive into what actually happened on that field, you need to understand just how unprecedented this entire setup was. This wasn't your typical pro day where college quarterbacks throw to familiar receivers in controlled conditions. What Shedeur orchestrated in Miami was something we've never seen before in modern draft evaluation. About 3 weeks ago, whispers started circulating in NFL circles. Shedeur hadn't just arranged a private workout, he had essentially created his own combine, but with a twist that would make even the most confident prospects think twice. Instead of inviting position coaches and regional scouts, he brought in the heavy hitters. We're talking about former NFL defensive coordinators who've spent decades plotting against quarterbacks like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. Here's where it gets absolutely insane. The facility itself tells a story. This isn't some college practice field or generic training center. This is the same Miami facility where NFL legends go to fine-tune their skills during the off-season, away from media frenzy and prying eyes. The equipment, the technology, the atmosphere, everything is designed to simulate the highest level of professional football. But Shedeur didn't stop there. He specifically requested that the evaluation include former NFL players as receivers and defenders. Not practice squad guys or players who barely made rosters. We're talking about athletes who were starting in the league just 2 years ago. Players who understand the nuances of NFL route running, who know how to create separation against elite coverage, and who can distinguish between college-level accuracy and professional precision. The psychological pressure alone would break most college quarterbacks. Picture walking into a room where 15 NFL executives, scouts, and coaches are scattered around with clipboards and stopwatches, their expressions stoic and unfazed. These aren't people who get excited easily. They've evaluated everyone from first-round busts to Hall of Fame legends. They've seen every type of arm talent, every style of leadership, every form of pocket presence. When Shedeur stepped onto that field, carrying the weight of a legendary last name and the hopes of an entire generation of Colorado football fans, The silence was deafening. No fanfare, no music, no cameras rolling for social media content. Just raw, unfiltered evaluation under the kind of pressure that typically separates pretenders from contenders. What made this setup even more remarkable was the timing. Most draft prospects wait until the official combine or pro days to showcase their skills. Shedeur chose to do this months earlier, essentially saying, "I'm ready now. Evaluate me against your highest standards." That level of confidence, some might call it audacity, immediately caught the attention of every person in that facility. The stage was set for something extraordinary. But nobody, not even the most optimistic evaluators, were prepared for what was about to unfold. This wasn't just going to be another workout. This was about to become the performance that would redefine how NFL teams evaluate quarterback prospects. What happened next is where this story transforms from impressive to absolutely legendary. The first drill seemed deceptively simple, 40-yard throws to stationary targets. But here's what most people don't understand about NFL evaluation. It's never about the drill itself. It's about how you execute under the microscope of professional scrutiny. These weren't college receivers running routes. Shedeur had specifically requested former NFL players, guys who understand the intricacies of route running at the professional level, who know how to create separation, and who can immediately tell the difference between a good college arm and legitimate NFL talent. These were the kinds of receivers who separate good quarterbacks from great ones, and they weren't about to make anything easy. Shedeur steps up for his first throw. The ball leaves his hand like a missile, 40 yards in what feels like the blink of an eye. Perfect spiral, perfect placement, hitting the receiver in perfect stride. The scouts exchange glances, but they're not impressed yet. They've seen strong arms before. College football is full of quarterbacks who can make impressive throws in controlled situations. Then comes throw number 2, and this is where everything changes. Same distance, but now the receiver is running a comeback route. The difficulty level just escalated exponentially. The timing has to be flawless, the anticipation at an NFL level, and the ball placement absolutely perfect. 1 degree off, 1 millisecond late, and the throw becomes incomplete or, worse, interceptable. Shedeur doesn't just complete the pass, he anticipates it with the precision of a 10-year veteran. He's throwing the ball before the receiver even starts his break, demonstrating the kind of pre-snap processing and route recognition that typically takes years to develop at the professional level. The ball arrives at the exact moment the receiver turns around, landing in his chest with such precision that veteran coaches literally do double takes. One scout, a guy who's been evaluating quarterbacks for over 2 decades, actually drops his clipboard. Another leans forward in his chair, suddenly paying attention in a way he hadn't been moments before. These are men who've seen every type of arm talent, from rocket arms that can't hit the broadside of a barn to pinpoint accuracy with limited velocity. What they're witnessing is the rare combination of both, elite arm strength married to surgical precision. But this is just the warm-up, and everyone in that facility knows it. The real evaluation, the test that separates college stars from NFL starters, is about to begin. Because throwing to stationary targets and running comeback routes is one thing. Performing under pressure, reading defenses, making split-second decisions while facing NFL-caliber pass rushers, that's where most college quarterbacks' dreams go to die. The energy in the facility shifts. Clipboards are raised, stopwatches are reset, and every eye focuses on the young man who's about to face the kind of pressure that has broken countless quarterback prospects before him. What happens next will determine whether Shedeur Sanders is just another talented college player or something truly special. Now comes the moment that separated this workout from every other quarterback evaluation in recent memory. The real test wasn't going to be about arm strength or accuracy in controlled conditions. It was about performing under the kind of pressure that makes or breaks NFL careers. Picture this scenario: a mock defense set up with former NFL players who weren't just participants, they were predators. These weren't practice squad guys looking for a paycheck. We're talking about athletes who were starting in the league just 2 years ago, players who built their careers on reading quarterbacks, disguising coverage, and making life absolutely miserable for signal callers. They know every trick, every tell, every weakness that college quarterbacks typically display when facing professional-level pressure. The scenario they created was diabolical in its simplicity. 2-minute drill, down by 6 points, 85 yards to go, no timeouts remaining. This is the exact situation that has broken more college quarterbacks than any other. It's where pocket presence, decision-making, and mental toughness converge in a perfect storm of pressure. Most prospects either panic, force throws into coverage, or take sacks that kill drives. Shedeur walks up to the line of scrimmage, and immediately you can see the defense trying to mess with his head. They're showing one look pre-snap, but every experienced evaluator in that facility knows they're about to rotate into something completely different. It's a veteran move designed to create confusion, force bad decisions, and expose the mental limitations that plague most college quarterbacks when they face NFL-level complexity. The ball is snapped, and as expected, the defense shifts into a completely different coverage. This is the moment where lesser quarterbacks would panic. The pocket starts collapsing, the initial read is covered, and the pressure is mounting. But Shedeur does something that makes every scout in that facility lean forward in their seats. He steps up in the pocket with the composure of someone who's been doing this for years, not months. His eyes stay focused downfield, scanning through his progressions with the kind of calm that you typically only see from established NFL starters. The pressure is coming from both sides, but he feels it without seeing it, sliding up in the pocket to buy himself an extra second. Then he spots it, a tiny window opening for maybe half a second. A slot receiver running a dig route with a linebacker who's just a step slow in coverage. The window is so small that most college quarterbacks wouldn't even attempt to throw. The margin for error is essentially zero. Too high, and it's intercepted by the safety rotating over. Too low, and it's incomplete or, worse, a hospital pass that gets the receiver destroyed. Shedeur rifles a perfect strike, threading the needle between two defenders and hitting the receiver in perfect stride. The linebacker who should have been in coverage stops mid-step, staring in disbelief. The safety, rotating over to help, shakes his head like he can't believe what he just witnessed. The scouts aren't just leaning forward anymore, they're standing up, realizing they're witnessing something truly special. This wasn't luck. This was elite-level processing, decision-making, and execution under the kind of pressure that typically destroys college prospects. What happened in the aftermath of that throw is where this story becomes absolutely legendary. The facility, which had been filled with the typical stoic professionalism of NFL evaluation, suddenly erupted in a way that veteran scouts later described as unprecedented in their careers. The linebacker who had been beaten on the play, a guy who spent 5 years starting in the NFL, walked over to Shedeur and said something that nobody in that facility will ever forget. "That's an NFL throw, young man. That's the kind of throw that wins games in December." Coming from a player who had faced Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and Patrick Mahomes in his career, those words carried weight that transcended typical workout praise. But the real moment that changed everything happened when they decided to run the drill again. Same scenario, same pressure, but this time the defense knew what was coming. They had seen Shedeur's tendencies, his preferred reads, his pocket movement. They were ready for him, or so they thought. The defense lined up with a completely different look, showing coverage that was designed to take away everything that had worked on the previous play. The linebacker dropped deeper, the safety rotated earlier, and the corner jumped the route that Shedeur had exploited moments before. It was a chess match playing out in real time, with former NFL players using every trick they had learned during their professional careers. Shedeur approached the line, and you could see him processing the defensive alignment. His eyes moved systematically across the formation, identifying the coverage, recognizing the trap they were trying to set. The snap count came, the ball was delivered, and the defense executed their plan perfectly, except Shedeur had already moved on to his next read. While the defense was focused on stopping what he had done before, Shedeur had identified a completely different weakness in their coverage. A back shoulder throw to the outside receiver, placed with such precision that only his target could catch it. The corner, who had been playing for the inside route, could only watch as the ball sailed over his head and into the receiver's hands. 2 plays, 2 completely different reads, 2 perfect executions under maximum pressure. The scouts weren't just impressed anymore, they were concerned. Concerned that they might be watching a player who was already operating at a level that most NFL quarterbacks take years to reach. One general manager, who had been quietly observing from the back of the facility, made a phone call that would later become the stuff of NFL legend. He called his head coach and said, "We need to talk about our draft board. We might have been looking at this all wrong." The workout continued for another hour, but everyone in that facility knew that something fundamental had shifted. This wasn't just another talented college quarterback trying to prove he belonged in the NFL. This was a player who was demonstrating that he might already be better than some current NFL starters. The silence that followed wasn't just respect, it was recognition that they had witnessed something truly special. As Shedeur walked off that field in Miami, the same evaluators who had once dismissed him as cocky were left grappling with a reality they hadn't expected. What they witnessed wasn't just talent, it was the rare combination of physical ability, mental processing, and unshakable confidence that defines elite NFL quarterbacks. The scouts who thought they had Shedeur Sanders figured out now find themselves questioning everything they thought they knew about quarterback evaluation. His performance didn't just exceed expectations, it shattered them completely, forcing NFL decision-makers to reconsider their entire approach to the 2025 draft. This wasn't just a workout. It was a statement. A declaration that Shedeur Sanders isn't just ready for the NFL, he might already be operating at a level that most professional quarterbacks take years to achieve. What do you think? Is Shedeur Sanders the real deal, or are we getting caught up in workout hype? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more NFL draft coverage. In the next video, we're breaking down how this performance is already changing team draft boards across the league. You won't want to miss it.